The police, another thing, body cameras. We completely redesigned body cameras. Our body cameras cost $70. Normal body camera costs, I don't know, $7,000. Our body cameras are simply lenses, two lenses attached to your vest, attached to the smartphone that you're wearing. And we actually take the video that the police officer is, by the way, and the camera's always on. You don't turn it on and off. And by the way you turn it on, you can't turn it on. I'm going to the bathroom. Oracle, I need 2 minutes to take a bathroom break, and we'll turn it off. The truth is, we don't really turn it off. What we do is we record it so no one can see it, but no one can get into that recording without a court order. So you get the privacy you requested, but a court order, if you get a court order, we will, judge, can order, I want to look at that, this so-called bathroom break. If there's something comes up, and plus I'm going to lunch with my friends. Oracle, I need an hour for privacy with lunch with my friends. God bless. We won't listen in unless there's a court order. But it's interesting. But we transmit the video back to headquarters. So headquarters and AI is constantly monitoring the video.
The Most High is jealous, and the Lord Yahweh revengeth. The Lord Yahweh revengeth, and is furious. The Lord Yahweh will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. The Lord Yahweh is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord Yahweh hath his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. Nahum chapter 1, verse 2 and 3. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Ruach HaKodesh, and double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. There's a brother Haran coming back at you with another lesson, low and be edifying unto the elect. All right, and I just wanted to go into a different topic today. Again, going back to Ezekiel 3:17, the Lord said he has made us watchmen upon the house of Israel. Therefore, we should hear the words out of his mouth and give them warning from him. Okay, so knowing that and understanding that Amos 3:7 says that surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. Okay, so that we can, tell the secret abroad, right? It's how should I said everything, all right, that I would tell you, I would tell thee in secret, go out and proclaim it on the rooftops. Okay, so the secrets that are given to us, the Lord wants us to make it public, make it known. Okay, it's a secret because the world doesn't know it until the prophets come out and make it known, declare. Okay, now I want to focus more on this thing called zero trust architecture. Okay, and we're going to get some edification on that because this is all part of the building blocks, as they say, which will be bringing in the beast system. All right, zero trust is pretty much the beast system that we're going to be having here in America, Babylon the Great. All right, and after I go into it, it'll make more sense. Okay, now there's an article that I found back in 2022. Okay, and it says the DoD, which is the Department of Defense, aims for full zero trust deployment by 2027. Okay, so we're 3 years removed from 2022 when this was written. All right, and we're only 2 years away from so-called 2027. All right, now through the Spirit, we believe we're not going to see all that, but if we were to see it, may Yahweh Basham shall be with us because, boy, look at here. All right, but it says here, the Pentagon plans to implement a zero trust architecture across its entire enterprise by 2027, according to DoD CIO John Sherman. Okay, so of course, your first question is going to be, what is zero trust, right? What is the zero trust architecture, right? Zero trust architecture is is not a product, but a security strategy based on eliminating implicit trust and continuously authorizing at every stage of digital interaction. Okay, so it's pretty much, in other words, blockchain. Okay, if anyone understands how blockchain works, this is another way of saying blockchain. In other words, everything that you do, and this is all going to be part of the infrastructure that Trump and them are building, going into Stargate and so on and so forth, right? It's an infrastructure, right? Meaning a structure that you could build upon, okay? And it's going to be a system thing where each and every individual action that's taken on social media or online or on the internet or whatever, okay, can be tracked, all right, and linked to the next activity that you do. So, for example, at 8:08 or 8 o'clock, you woke up. Blockchain, or in this case, you wake up, you clock in with your phone or whatever, right? At 10 o'clock, you took a break, all right? At 10:30, you clock back in. At 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. or 5 p.m., you clock out from work. Okay. Now, on your way back to maybe the train station to take the train, you stop at a grocery store. You bought a few items. Okay. Each and every item that you purchased is recorded. All right. Now, how much you spent? Okay. When you ate that food, how you ate it, how fast you ate it, all these things are also all going to be recorded. Okay. And then you go to the bank. You went to the bank, you extracted a certain amount of money. It's already, recorded. All right. But in this case, I'm giving modern day examples because when this thing comes out, you're not going to be able to do cash and stuff like that, transactions with cash. So that's going to be eliminated, But let's just say if it was implemented today, right? I'm just giving an example that anything and everything you do will be recorded and can be tracked and traced and linked to the next activity that you did. That's what blockchain is pretty much about. All right, now I'm going to go a little bit in depth into it as well, get the actual definitions of it. Okay, but let's get a little bit more understanding of what zero trust is about. And just thinking of the name or the concept of zero trust, what does that mean? Right? That means that, in other words, everybody is looked at as a criminal, right? And you have to prove that you're not a criminal. So it's basically you're guilty until proven innocent instead of the other way around, right? So you always have to prove your innocence. You always have to prove, your allegiance. You always have to give some form of authorization, right? Which is ultimately building to the Motb. Okay, this is the infrastructure that the Motb is going to run on, right? You got social credit systems and so on and so forth. All these things play a role in building that infrastructure or bringing that so-called plan, all right, or agenda into reality. Okay. So it says here, zero trust is designed to protect modern environments and enable digital transformation by leveraging network segmentation, using strong authentication methods, providing layer 7 threat prevention, preventing lateral movement, and least privilege or least access policies. The zero trust security model has been gaining popularity in recent years as organizations become more aware of the risk of traditional security models. Okay. Now, it says here, zero trust architecture is a security model based on the principle of least privilege. Least privilege means that users and devices are only granted the permissions they need to perform their tasks. In other words, nothing more, nothing less. Okay. This helps reduce the attack surface and makes it more difficult for attackers to gain access to sensitive data. See, that's the ploy, right? That's what they're pitching. Okay. So I wouldn't be surprised if very soon, right before this thing comes out or they make it official, very soon you're going to start seeing a lot of, heightened sense of urgency when it comes to cyber threats, cyber attacks, and so on and so forth. Okay. Who knows? We might see the whole system grid go down for a while. They don't necessarily have to do it that way, Because previously, I thought, they're going to have to shut everything down and then bring it back and there's going to be a new system, blah, blah, blah. But they necessarily don't have to do it that way. Okay. There's something known as a brownfield approach. Okay. And we're going to get into that. But just before we do so, maybe in case I forget, right? A brownfield approach is basically having a system, right? And then porting over the old system into the new system, right? And then eliminating the parts that you don't like from the old system and replacing it with the things that you like in the new, right? So for example, you take let's say transportation, right? Because that's also going to be a part of the transition, right? Transportation, they say, okay, you know what? People would fly planes. They board a plane and then go from one place to another, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to have a new system where instead of going to the checkout, going in and checking in your bags and scanning your passport and so on and so forth, going through security and all that, we're just going to wipe all that out. You're still going to have to go through some type of security, but it will no longer be people that you're dealing with, right? That's just a small example, right? You're going to be doing pretty much the same things, but certain things in that things that you used to do will change. It's been upgraded. So rather than seeing people that you're going to go weighing your bags and so, now you just put on a conveyor belt and it takes care of it for you, right? Instead of meeting a person and talking to them, hey, my passport here, I'm going here, this is how much my bag weighs, They don't need all that, right? You just scan your face or your hand, right? And then all your information pops up and then it interacts with you from there, right? So there'll be minimal human to human interaction and it'll be more human to machine interaction, all right? And that's how things are going to go. So now the machines become the authority. If you don't grant the machine what it's looking for, you don't have permission or access. Again, least privilege. Okay. So continuing, so that's a little bit on brownfield, a brownfield approach, right? Bringing in a new system, right? And just kind of porting over the old system into the new system and then making the slight changes that you need to make in order for the old to fit the new. That's all, right? And that necessarily, you don't have to have a blackout for that to happen. You could just implement the system with laws and regulations and new terms and agreements and so on and so forth. And then people have to adapt, right? Behavior will have to change to this new system, okay? And sometimes if you want that to be expedited, all you do is set up a nice little FF, right? Agitation. There you go, right? So it says here, Zero Trust assumes that no user or device can be trusted, even if they are inside the corporate network, right? And they can come up with an example like Edward Snowden, right? He was somebody who was in the NSA, and he so-called exposed the kind of things that they're using, that information that they're gathering for, which is all unconstitutional, right? But they deemed him like, oh, he's a threat. He's a national security threat. We need to eliminate people like him, And that's what they always say. Oh, it's just a national security threat. It's not a national security threat. It's just exposing the shit that you devils be doing in the back. That's all. You see? Anyway, so it says, this is in contrast to traditional security models, which typically trust users and devices inside the network and only require authentication for users outside the network, right? So this is all, everyone calls it all, both small and great, right? Now, how Zero Trust works? You have, it says it works by implementing a number of security controls that are designed to verify the identity. See that? Identity, digital ID is going to play a huge role in this new system. Okay, it's going to be everything, really, right? Your digital ID is linked to everything that you do. So it says designed to verify the identity of users and devices before granting them access to resources such as authentication, authorization, continuous monitoring, microsegmentation, identity access management, which of course is abbreviated as IAM, right? Because these devils always got to push it there. Okay. Now we're going to jump down a little bit. Okay. Zero Trust use cases, right? They go into data, they go into applications, they go into networks, they go into remote access, malicious inside threats, secure access to the cloud, securing hybrid and multi-cloud environments, and so on and so forth, right? So it's a whole lot of, if you're into like software and computers and stuff like that, this kind of lingo is quite basic to you. But those of us who are not in that field, we need a little bit more to get the understanding of what they're talking about, right? Here it says, I'm gonna make it very, very, very simple because I have to move on to the next thing. Let me see. There's one part that I wanted to read. I think it might be in this one here. All right. Right. Zero trust. Okay. It says, what we're aiming for is by 2027 to have zero trust deployed across the majority of our enterprise systems in the Department of Defense in 5 years, Sherman said at a recent TED Talks keynote presentation. That's an ambitious goal for those of you familiar with zero trust, but the adversary capability we're facing leaves us no choice but to move at that level of pace. In other words, breakneck speed. Okay, and remember, the things that Trump and them are doing is bringing in this zero trust system. Now, back in 2022, Trump was not the president. Okay, at least to the knowledge of the people, he was not the president. So how is it that back then, the kind of things that they were setting up, he's coming in and basically bringing it into fruition? Because the plan has always been there, and it just has to be carried out by the various so-called political parties and so on and so forth. Whoever's in the next 4 years or 8 years, they're the ones who are being used to push further into these agendas being made manifest. That's all it is. That's what governments are for. Governments are created to control the minds of the people. That's it. Push them into the direction in which we want you to be in. Okay? And then they have something known as lobbyists, right? Lobbyists are people who come in from a different country with different interests. Okay? And then they infiltrate into a foreign country, right? And then they through means of, bribery, propaganda, blackmail, whatever it is that they do, okay, they can access those people who make the decisions, all right, in that government. See, so they can tamper with the decisions being made. They can influence the decisions being made into their favor, right? That's what lobbyists are there for, okay. And the biggest lobbyists are, who's, right? The J's. Yeah, yo. All right. So continuing, it says, here's a look at what the Pentagon's Zero Trust Initiative will entail and how the U.S. government plans to face the new reality of perimeter-less security. Right now, May of this year, they're going to be bringing out the what's it called? Something ID. Damn, forget the name of it. Real ID. There you go. Right, the Real ID. Okay. Now that is just the ID that they're gonna use as more of a physical test, and the minds of the people will have to gravitate towards the use of these physical tests. So physical tests, right? So people's minds are gonna be on those. How do I use this Real ID? We're using Real ID, but guess what? It's gonna be short-lived. Okay, the Real ID is a step before the actual digital ID, where you're gonna have to have it in your body. And in 2 years, right, 2025 to 2027 is good enough time to get people acclimated to the use of the Real ID, and then change them, transition them into the digital ID. Okay, because your Real ID has already created a imprint, a mark, where a footprint, so to speak, where the digital will just take over what you've already been doing with the physical. So it's a step-by-step thing. All right. Anyway, so continuing, it says, the Pentagon plans to roll out zero trust at scale for their enterprise of over 4 million people by 2027. This ambitious plan is based upon the continued rising threat of attacks from individuals cyber gangs and state actors, right? Which we know that's all made up stuff. CIA is always behind these things because if they don't want something to happen, it's not going to happen. Okay. They watch everything. They know exactly what's going on with everyone. If they don't want something to happen, it's not going to happen. All right. So continuing, it says, it says, meanwhile, Commander General Jackie Van Ovost of the U.S. Transportation Command, right? U.S. Transportation, they're also involved in this. So is it coincidental that all of a sudden you've seen all these couple of years ago as train derailments, right? Major, that's major. And then this year you had these planes and so on and so forth crashing, falling out the sky and so on and so on, right? Major. Okay. So it says, Transportation Command announced that her organization is already at work. The devil is already at work. It says, last month we completed our implementation. This is a quote, by the way. Last month we completed our implementation of our core zero trust capabilities on our classified network, reaching the baseline maturity level, end quote, said Van Ovost. It says the DoD announcement is far from unique. In January 2022, the Executive Office of the President released an announcement about government-wide zero trust goals. Clearly, the U.S. government places high confidence in the approach and intends to embrace it as soon as possible. So is Trump going to be embracing this? You damn right. He's behind all this shit. Okay? He's full-fledged, full force behind all these things. Okay, it says in the current threat environment, the federal government can no longer depend on conventional perimeter-based defenses to protect critical systems and data. The memo states, incremental improvements will not give us the security we need. Instead, the federal government needs to make bold changes and significant investments, about $500 billion, right, to defend the vital institutions that underpin the American way of life. Okay? Now, you know there are certain companies that are partnered with this whole zero trust thing, right? Microsoft, Google, and of course, Oracle. It says, the White House states that transitioning to a zero trust approach will provide a defensible architecture for new environments. In addition, the government says it will require agencies to meet specific zero trust objectives within the next few years. In today's reality, remote work and connected devices are commonplace, right? Because of the 2020 demic, right? It shifted everything into overdrive when it comes to digital world and a digital infrastructure where people can actually function, right? People work from home. You know, you're actually working from home. It's crazy, you know? It says, a company's tech stack regularly expands with new tools and applications. Even if they tried, enterprises can no longer define a perimeter to protect. Now, security must be verified for every app, user, software, and device. See? With zero trust, all requests are assumed to be unauthorized until proven otherwise. There you go. You must prove your identity. So we know, oh, you're who you say you are, therefore you're going to be granted this kind of access because now we know who you are. Right? No more anonymity. Right? Social media platforms, all that stuff, they're going to know exactly who's using what, when they're using it, why they're using it, where they're using it, and how they're using it. See? Everything is all being tracked and traced. Okay? It said, instead of a single technology, zero trust uses multiple strategies such as multi-factor authentication, micro-segmentation, and AI-driven contextual analytics. Organizations that turn to zero trust realize 20.5% lower cost for a data breach than those not using zero trust. See, so now it's an appeal, right, to these businesses that look, you're gonna save a whole lot more money, right, and have more security if you jump onto what we're doing right now. Okay, it says in fact, companies with zero trust deployed saved nearly $1 million in average breach costs compared to those without it. DoD CIO Sherman said, the current threat environment leaves us no choice. The answer that many are turning to is zero trust. Okay? So that leaves us with no choice, or leaves us no choice. In other words, something big is going to happen that they'll be justified in bringing in this new system. Okay? Something big. Again, it doesn't have to be a whole grid shutdown, but it would be nice if it did. You see, it would be nice if it did. It could be anything. But they have the media to push propaganda, to make people sway one direction or the other, right? So they don't really need much. They could just come up with anything and make it stick, because these people have been conditioned, all right, to believe whatever the hell the government tells them. Okay? Now, I want to look up something real quick here. I mentioned blockchain, right? What is blockchain? Let's look it up. It's always good to look these things up. Shit. Damn. Blockchain. I thought I had it here. Wow, they just deleted it? Let's look it up again. What is blockchain, right? It says here, blockchain is a decentralized digital ledger that records and verifies data across a network of computers. It uses cryptography to secure the data and make tampering obvious. Okay, that's zero trust. Everything is linked. Nobody can get access unless you're approved, right? It says how it works. It says each transaction is recorded as a block of data in the blockchain. So everything you do, every transaction you make is already recorded in there. Okay, no more anonymity. You could use cash to buy things and nobody could track it. But this, it's trackable, right? There's a footprint that comes with it, right? It says the blocks are linked together in a chain using cryptography. Each block contains a timestamp, transaction data, and a cryptographic hash of the previous block. In other words, the previous activity that you did that led to this, right? It says the blocks are immutable, meaning the data cannot be altered without consensus from the network. Okay. What is blockchain used for? Cryptocurrencies, financial services, supply chain tracking, enterprise applications. Okay. Cryptocurrencies. Blockchain is the technology that underpins cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Financial services. Blockchain can be used to simplify peer-to-peer transactions. Blockchain for supply chain tracking. Blockchain can be used to track the movement of products and other assets. So if it can be used for products and to track products and other assets, then what happens when it's implemented and implanted into the human body? Would it also be able to track? Yeah, there you go. You see where we're going with it? Nice, right? Enterprise applications. It says blockchain can be used to create an unalterable record of transactions, orders, and payments. Okay. Blockchain was invented in 2008 by Satoshi Nakamoto, sounds Japanese, right? The pseudonym of an unknown person or group. Okay, interesting. Okay. It says blockchain is a system in which a record of transactions, especially those made in a cryptocurrency, is maintained across computers that are linked in a peer-to-peer network. Okay, so that's a little bit of information on blockchain. All right, but again, going back to the point I was making, that this is the building of the system. All right, that's gonna keep people in a prison, so to speak. There's nothing you could do. This is like the George Orwell's 1984 type energy coming in, and it's gonna be all AI pushing everything and running everything and controlling everything, man. But yeah, this is where we at. This is where we at. So, just wanted to bring that out real fast. Let me get this precept and then we're gonna close it out. You already know where we're going with this one. Yeah, it's all coming together, man. It's all coming together. It's happening quickly. They said 2027, but I believe it's happening now. Okay, it's happening now. All right, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell. See, the zero trust. Okay, no man might buy or sell. If you don't have this, you don't have access, period. So that's the system being built. And once it's put in place, now the people got to make the decision. Okay, do I want to be a part of this or not? And if I don't, just know that I have nothing, right? It says that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Again, you have to be some form of identified. You have to have some form of identity. Okay, the name of the beast or the number of his name, the mark, all these things are all synonymous with identity. Okay, you being able to be identified. All right, with a number, some type of code, some type of digitization, digits, numbers, right? So here we are, man. All right, but I just want to end it off there. Lord willing, you were edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach HaKodesh, Thawada Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, and until next time, Shalom.